You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Tuesday. It's Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. We're live over here on the East Coast. It's New York. I guess it's better than Old York. But I'm happy to have you here. And we've got a lot of cool stuff to do tonight. We've got, of course, everybody who uses the internet, or a lot of people who use the internet, are still digesting the, any portion of the 3.5 million pieces of documentation to varying levels of veracity and whatever the hell it is. It's provocative, it's crazy, it's dark, and it's completely taken over all of the plans we had for tonight from last week when Jay Gulinello was on. Jay, welcome to the show.
Hey!
Where the hell are you?
I don't know.
Oh, there you are.
I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Is this in the way? Should I take this down?
Yeah, let's take that piece of shit down.
Okay, sorry.
I have to keep remembering I'm dealing with a mass hole over here.
Yes, absolutely. The worst guy.
And when it comes to Super Bowl season.
Hey, it's been a long drought.
Long drought? My gosh. 30 years. 30 years since. Oh, my God. It's crazy.
Well, you're not going to root for Seattle, are you?
I'm just going to root for food.
That's fair.
That's it.
That's fair.
Food. Maybe I'll pack myself a hookah and just hang out. And I'm going to root for all my numbers. I don't care who
there
wins.
You go.
I've got six. Right now, I got myself six $20 boxes.
Okay.
And
do you do the numbers like what score a quarter's going to end in?
I'll go to the deli over the weekend and I'll write down all my numbers.
Okay.
And that's it.
I want to know them too, so I can root for you.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Okay.
In fact, I'll send them to everybody.
All right, cool.
Root for Frank.
We can all root for you. Put in good vibes.
So last week, I still have all the stuff we were going to do tonight from last week, but tonight, I listen, dude.
No,
we got to talk, especially Bill Gates. And from a medical standpoint, there's a lot of interesting things there. There's also one story that I have not seen anybody, dig up. I would hope in 3.5 million pieces of information that have been published by the DOJ, which some of them are disappearing, by the way.
Really?
Some people have taken note. Where the hell was it? People have taken note. What is this from? Poor Dart? I gotta see how many people keep up with these numbers here. It first started with Byzantine General on February 1st, and I'm surprised that I haven't seen more people talk about this. There are more than 12,000 hits in the Epstein files for Rothschild. Epstein knew them intimately. Well, he said, I represent the Rothschilds, and there's a lot in there on that for sure. I think we're going to be talking. Jay Dyer will be on the show on Monday. I definitely want to talk to him about that, Gladio, the World Wars, Hitler, all that stuff. But then that 12,000 hits, apparently yesterday. What the hell was this? On February 2nd, yesterday, it was down to 11,912. And a couple of hours ago, today, people were reporting it's down to 11,860.
And this is just containing the word Rothschild.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what's being skimmed and trimmed and all that stuff, but still, it's a gigantic pile of hay.
It's what's unbelievable to me so far, and of course this is all new. Well, we're what, day 4 into this mess, or 5? You know,
it was a weekend, so
right, the 30th, I think, right? So what I'm finding is that it seems that in every field you can imagine, there is some element of relevance to what's in these files. And even I, you know, so yeah, we had all these great plans, and I was super excited for a whole bunch of the things we were going to talk about, because they were very timely, and they still are, and they still will be in a week. But holy mackerel, even I found some stuff in here that I have direct knowledge and, you know, that is in my sphere of influence, which I was kind of honestly shocked about, because when you think about Jeffrey Epstein and you think of geopolitics and you think of political blackmail and you think of gun running, you know, you typically don't think of like health, nutrition, longevity, but I was wrong. And it's going to tie in, and we can make a couple of educated guesses, and we can speculate. And there's some really interesting things in here that I've read just by myself over the last couple of days.
Well, did you see, you had to have seen, you know, most obviously these emails between Jeffrey Epstein and just talking a little bit about his hopeful venture with Bill Gates to be able to go and do some pandemic planning,
right,
with the WHO, the CDC, hoping to do something. Trying to the agenda for the meeting on preparing for pandemics as requested. You know, people who just love humanity so much.
Oh, I mean, it's big fans.
Love humanity.
Big fans. just rooting for us all.
Dude, it just it's nutty, and that's all. That's on in what is it? It's March of 2015. Now, around that time, around 2014, 2015, I remember in the old studio, I was not on the regular, but I feel like at least a couple of times a year there was some kind of strange messaging coming from Bill Gates and his foundation and wherever he was showing up in the world talking about disease X. He's been talking about disease X for many years.
Well, he's been hard at work trying to create it, obviously. So.
Obviously.
It's not going well.
Dude, there's so much. There's so much on that end, especially in Ukraine too.
Oh yeah, all roads seem to lead back to Ukraine. What was the year where Anthony Fauci, maybe it was 2017, where he famously made that statement about there will be a pandemic? I think that was 2017, I believe.
It was right at the onset of the Trump administration.
Yeah, so I think it was. Yeah, which is clairvoyant of him.
Oh yeah, no, to make guarantees is incredible, especially since it's something that that doesn't happen
naturally occurring. I mean, it's just, you know,
it doesn't usually happen that way. But then of course there's the other thing here too. You read about Bill Gates and the STD.
Yes.
It turned out he was a super spreader himself, and
I don't want to think about this.
And then he also attempted. I don't know how, if he did it, what he was going to do. Just remember, this is the guy who wants to put vaccines in our lettuce.
This is probably where he got the idea.
Yeah.
Oh, this is perfect.
How do I get Melinda to
eat your salad? Eat your salad. Eat your salad.
Eat your salad. If you don't eat your salad, you'll get chlamydia.
I always thought it was if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding, but apparently I was wrong.
No, it's just, and this is how they deal with people in their own homes, and they care about you and I.
This is right. So I think as we go through all this, I had a couple of things I just wanted people to keep in mind in the big picture. This is the way they treat their supposed loved ones. So you might want to think again when you're taking health advice from any of these people that we're going to talk about tonight.
No, absolutely not.
Wild.
Yeah, no, it's very wild. Here's a little bit of it. This is from Jeffrey Epstein himself. I guess it's to himself. I guess it's a note. I've decided to resign my position effective immediately with BG3 and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I have not come to this decision quickly or without great deal of thought. During the past few weeks, I've been caught up in a severe marital dispute between Melinda and Bill. I have the greatest respect for my friend of 7 years and wish them both well. In my role as his right hand, I had
Whoa.
I thought that there was just a couple of regretful dinners.
I mean, can you imagine? And you remember how Bill Gates is always squirmy, but you remember that interview? How just he looked uncomfortable in his human skin suit. He was. And wait a minute, this is 2013.
This is 2013.
I thought the marital problems were. I mean, So they go back that far then, because that divorce was not even that long ago.
You're dealing with that much money. I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe you just present a unified front. I don't know.
I mean, because this is news to me that this goes back 13 years. I mean, I don't know, just interesting that they were having issues all the way back then.
Seems she was very happy to get out of it. He
Yeah.
says, in my role as his right hand, I have been asked and wrongly acquiesced into participating in things that have ranged from morally inappropriate. This is coming from Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my! How bad do you have to be as a human being, Bill Gates, to get Jeffrey Epstein to tell you it's morally questionable?
That's the worst part
Wow.
That's the worst part. If you're Bill Gates, aside from actually doing the thing.
Whoa.
This is like, I don't know if it's the insult is the injury as well. that Jeffrey Epstein broke up with you. Bill, I can't hang out with you anymore.
It's just too much.
It's just too much. It's against my moral code.
Woo! And to which Bill retorts, moral code?
What?
What's that?
Come on now. Gulping fish. He talks like a gulping fish.
He does.
In my role, morally to the ethically unsound, and have been repeatedly asked to do things that get near and potentially over the line into illegal, though it was kindly suggested that I make a transition to a new position after my 6 years of servitude, and that Bill would, in his words, give me 2 years severance pay. I feel it would be dishonest to myself and my future. From helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with consequences of sex with Russian girls, to facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, to being asked to provide Adderall from bridge for bridge tournaments. He needed to be hopped up to play bridge with friends.
That's weird.
As I am a medical doctor, but I have no prescription writing ability.
Wait, what?
I don't know what that means. I didn't know he was a doctor. There's a lot of things that are weird in here.
I mean,
But-
he's writing this to himself. It's funny. I mean, the only emails I send myself are like passwords and things that I need to remember. I don't ever do anything like this. This is weird. He's not a doctor.
I don't understand it.
He doesn't even play one ever. I mean, I don't.
And this is the other thing here too, with all the pharmaceuticals. I brought this up last night with Sherry. With all the pharmaceuticals that Bill Gates deals in, why do you have to go to Jeffrey Epstein to get antibiotics?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he could just, speed dial one and he'd have any, head of Pfizer, Merck, anybody there to just give him whatever he wants.
And then we got this. I mean, this is not a denial. So Melinda Gates.
She looks weirder and weirder as the years go by.
Well, they are getting old. Everybody's getting old.
Yeah, I guess.
But take a listen to this. She was asked about that particular email.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's doing media?
She did for this.
Wow.
Take a listen to this. I don't know what it's an NPR interview or something. Take a listen.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is.
Okay, so this is girl talk right here.
This is definitely NPR.
Yeah, okay. So listen, you don't have to use English, but can you tell us in girl what your dominant emotion is so we know what the hell the truth of the matter is?
Can you blink in Morse code?
Yeah, well, she's going to tell you the truth of the matter through dominant emotions.
When you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right?
Right. That's what you're supposed to feel.
And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave.
So it's no denial. She understands. She probably knew. It's probably all been out. I mean, we're talking about 2013 over here, so it's probably been all just taken care of at that point. And hey, listen, I don't know. You know, the other thing here, I said again last night, and it always happens. And not that I'm waiting, not that I'm hungry for it, but I want this to go. I want this to go a little bit deeper. we don't. I mean, we're most of us are like, is everybody reading this?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Anybody, the mainstream media probably hasn't touched it at all.
Is everybody reading this? Does everybody understand what's happening here? You know, people who, you know, called people names or, you know, the guilt by association for one conspiracy theory group or another. I mean, it's all right here. It covers the range from cannibalism, references to cannibalism, to human trafficking, to all time. I mean, and then, you know, you had, what's his name, Secretary Blanche over there at the DOJ, who said that everything that was being given right now, aside from necessary redactions, which God knows how much of it is actually necessary, aside from necessary redactions, the only other stuff that was not included in there in this tranche is pictures and video that show injury and death.
My God.
So we're talking
like snuff films.
We're talking like, snuff. We're talking snuff, and this that just in that statement in itself just it brings me back to the whole Pam Bondi Phase 1 fiasco.
Yeah,
it's like, so we went through all that shit just to be told that there's no network, there's no blackmail, there's nothing crazy going on here, and then you're essentially saying we had to leave the snuff films out of this, and where are the high profile, you know, announcements of raids, and you know who are they?
The mainstream media was happy to cover. You remember what? I don't know. A couple months ago, the mainstream media was loving this whole. They were covering the Epstein victims outside of Congress, and they loved covering this when they thought it was going to somehow tarnish the reputation of the sitting president. Now that we have, you know, media darlings like Bill Gates quite literally on the hot seat, I haven't heard a peep from anybody. So just a reminder to the audience, the media is completely useless. They are just another extension or arm of whatever you want to call it, you know, deep state, Democrat Party, Uniparty, whatever. So that's one thing that's fascinating. And then you think about all the people, Frank, from 2020. I vividly remember still, I have my memory is strange in the way it works, but I remember arguing with a doctor must have been 2020. It was very early on. I posted one of my first things about Bill Gates. Again, in my naivete, thinking Bill Gates is a software guy. Like at that time, I didn't even really understand his role in health at all. Like I have much better understanding of all of that now, but at the time, it was a weird name even to me to even have him being brought into any of this stuff. And I was just like, why is anybody listening to Bill Gates when it comes to X, Y, and Z? And you should have seen the doctors coming after me, not about Bill Gates and his competency in biology or biochemistry or immunology or vaccinology. It was defending his character. Frank, you know what he's done for, name the country here, name the country, you know, and I was just...
Do you know how many children he's given polio to in Africa?
Exactly. And again, I was very new to the whole thing because Bill Gates is not somebody, in case you guys want to know, when you go through, you know, grad school and all the schooling I've gone through in health and the health sciences. It's funny, Bill Gates' name never came up. He's not somebody that we study. So I was just totally taken aback by this. And now when you see this, in my mind, I go back to these conversations I had with doctors who are outsourcing their intelligence and their intellect and everything to a guy who, this is the guy. This is the guy that everyone was, well, we're not going to be able to get out of this until everyone's vaccinated. You know, like all those crazy hits he did on CNN. This is the guy you're talking about.
Dude.
It's crazy to me.
I saw one theory. I saw one theory somebody put out on Instagram or wherever the hell it was. They said, what if COVID was just a cover for Bill Gates? So that he can give his wife antibiotics.
Oh my God. I mean, you know, if you're gonna cover something up, you might as well just, you know, go home, go big or go home, as David Lee Roth says.
take this flu vaccine. And it's just penicillin.
Frank, he was deciding whether the world should reopen. This guy.
I know.
This guy.
Him and teachers unions.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was just remarkable. So, you know, I normally I don't delight in the, you know, in the destruction of others, but he might be the exception to the rule.
See, that's what, and we're going to go real deep tonight.
Okay.
We're going to go real deep tonight, but in a way that we haven't done it in a while.
I'm very excited to actually learn a lot of this because I know that these are areas where we diverge a little bit. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to kind of sitting in and hearing what you are piecing together, because it was very interesting talking to you earlier.
No, it's just crazy, because it's one thing to have someone, okay, does everybody agree that this is terrible? And this goes beyond sexual impropriety. The hearing about somebody's marital issues, or if somebody goes outside the marriage and has an affair or something like that. It doesn't.
You expect that from these people.
It doesn't move the needle.
Right.
It does, as a story. It doesn't move the needle.
No.
It doesn't make anything better or worse for anybody. Whatever. That's just television drama.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as what we're dealing with right here, and especially just going back to 2020 and analyzing the character of the people and the motives of the people, how much they really care about everybody, that they are going to shut down economies.
Yeah.
They're going to keep you home. They're going to coerce you. They're going to twist your arms to take things that they have personally invested billions and billions and billions of dollars into developing. You want to talk about the open free market. I imagine that developing a product and then having the weight of world governments mandating their citizens take it. Can you imagine being that pizzeria? Everybody is mandated to eat your pizza. Holy shit! I mean,
it's a great business model.
It's a great business model. All cash, but Russian hookers. He gets the clap. Why he needs antibiotics from Epstein is beyond me. He's trying to dose Melissa without her knowing. And he wants to grow our food. I'm like, dude, I mean, you see, this is how you cancel out the authority of the experts. You don't need to inject stuff into your body from people who want to reduce your numbers or your productivity, your reproductive viability.
Right.
This is just they want to feed you gruel. They want to limit how much you can use the air conditioner in the summer. I don't need a medical degree to know that whatever biosludge these people are producing and trying to mandate is not going to be good and should not be put into any living thing.
Everything that Bill Gates has ever invested in has been a net negative in terms of, whether you're talking about his fake meats or whether you're talking about the Bovir, which is the injectable that they're using on cattle in several countries in order to reduce methane emissions. I mean, I've outlined this on the show with Daryl, and I've done it on videos, and it's just to think that there are still people out there who think that Bill Gates, even after all this, that think that Bill Gates actually has, as you said, they're just looking out for us. I mean, you are now the willfully ignorant, right? You maybe could have been excused like I was in 2019, 20, thinking like, Bill Gates, the Microsoft guy, like that's all he was irrelevant to me. It just didn't play a part in my life, except when my computer had the blue screen of death and I would curse his name, like other than that, fuck, right, Bill Gates, I don't want an update. But like other than that, no, right? And then all of a sudden, he's just, not only did he inject himself into the conversation about public health, but then to see the people run to his defense was, I don't know, I guess call me naive, but I didn't see that coming. And it's been years of just trying to like peel back the layers of this onion to feel, to understand where we were headed. And now it's just so much clearer. And then again, most importantly, you see the character of the man that is telling you everything about your body, what you should be eating, what you should be injecting, if you still are playing that game and you are still on that, Team Gates and what does he call himself? He labeled himself a philanthropist. That's always a dead giveaway. Like I said, he took a lot of cues from Rockefeller, who, when he was being sort of lambasted in the public, he started handing out like dimes to little girls, or all these old clips of him handing out dimes to little girls because he was trying to revamp his image. That's exactly where Bill Gates got all of his, philanthropy from, right? You can't give yourself a nickname, buddy.
Right.
It's like, just like on Seinfeld. Hey, start calling me T-Bone, right? Costanza wanted to be called T-Bone.
Yeah.
No, other people got to give you nicknames. So it's just wild to me. And I hope that you're like, is anyone else looking at this? Do we see now why all of us were saying, I don't think Bill Gates should be in the driver's seat of any of this. He's got no qualifications. He's got conflicts of interest. In any other field, you would never allow this. Why are you allowing it now?
Well, let's get down to his denials.
Okay.
Again. So what was it? Unfortunate. It was a couple of regretful dinners.
Right.
That's it.
And then,
regrettably,
then I told you. Then it's Mr. Rogers sweater and
Right.
roll my fingers.
Exactly.
And,
Mr. Rogers with the man boobs. And so we had these. I remember it was in these unsealed emails that came out, and it's obvious, seemingly drafted by Epstein to himself once again, because we just watched it over here. This is another one from 2013 where Epstein is writing to himself essentially a draft of a resignation letter or a diary entry of why he needs to distance himself from Gates. And this is where he references a Boris. He references a Boris in here. And that ended up being identified as Gates Foundation, like a scientific advisor. His name was Boris Nikolic.
Okay.
All right. And he... Boris was actually named as a backup executor to Epstein's estate. And when Epstein died, and of course they're trying to, all the estate matters are being handled and stuff like that, Boris was like, I don't know why I've been, I have no clue. Nobody told me that I would. It's like whether they did or not. I mean, he knows your name and he wanted to put you down. Why?
Yeah, he didn't put my name down.
I know, it's just crazy. So. He was this biotech venture capitalist, and he was a chief scientific officer for Gates. And I mean, he denied having any business with him, but that's pretty crazy. But that leads us to something that's pretty crazy, even bigger here, because here we have the start of something. Bill Gates. This is from September 10th, 2019. Bill Gates made donations to MIT through Jeffrey Epstein. And here are all the tech moguls' connections to the advisor. This is from Insider. Business Insider, okay?
I remember this.
Now, all you'll get there is, about $2 million directed Gates to donated $2 million. Others say about 2.5, whatever the hell it is. But where is it going? It's going to MIT Media Lab.
Okay.
Now, this is when I looked at that, I said, okay. All right. This brought me back to something. That's when I went on Twitter and I just asked around. I said, listen, anybody out there that's thumbing through all this stuff, is there any mention? And then I went to the DOJ website and I went to the Epstein files and I went to the search box and I put in the name Aaron Swartz and nothing came up.
Okay.
I put in a couple other names and some loose connections came up and whatever, but it's nothing huge. Now, Aaron Swartz, for those of you who don't know, is the co-founder of Reddit. And we had a situation back around 2010, 11, I forget when it was. But take a listen to this. You want to bring it up? Here, I just found it. I just found an Instagram on him. Just in case you wanted a little bit of a thumbnail sketch. 2010, Aaron Swartz downloaded 70 gigabytes of academic articles from JSTOR. Now, JSTOR is it's a platform, a repository for academic articles and periodicals and all that stuff. And it's very, very cheap to be a member and to get all these articles for your own disposal and stuff.
70 gig. Okay.
70 gig, which is actually not even that much.
Yeah.
For that, he faced up to 35 years in prison and $1 million fine. He took his own life. First of all, he said no to a plea deal. He said, give me trial. And then in January of 2013, before his trial even began, he supposedly hung himself. Okay? And this goes back to something back in 2012. All right. I forgot when the hell it was that it first came out. This is 1/15/2012, which can't be right. But it's from rents.com. And it's by a guy named Yoichi Shimatsu. So this is an old one. It used to be on Rents. Now I had to find this to keep it to keep it in my archives. And I referenced this over the years as well because it was a very strange death for somebody who's, at the helm of a website that, I mean, he was so young and there were so many years ahead of him. Even if he got the full weight of a $1 million fine, it would have been nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. But here's what I want to bring up here, because it has everything to do with MIT. So let's get on to it. Ready? I have some things just to try to give this. We have to read a lot from this. The headline from Yoichi Shimatsu, who's still out there, he's still active, but he's kind of like he just goes into holes. And he goes and whatever he sets his sight on with investigating, he investigates, and
he probably has to be careful, because I mean, it seemingly anybody who investigates the things you're going to get into,
I know,
it doesn't end well for them.
I know. That's why reading these articles are always, even reading them makes me nervous.
I know. Yeah.
So this headline in particular, and I'll share all the links with you guys afterwards. Was Aaron Swartz killed by an MIT satanic child porn ring? Let us start by dismissing the prosecution's ludicrous charge that any programmer as talented as Aaron Swartz would dedicate his life to stealing an archive that dispenses its academic papers for a few dollars apiece to the public or for free to students under department accounts. MIT professors who are so full of themselves are the only ones who might take seriously such a fool's errand as a worthy objective for the brilliant and rebellious Swartz, or the lawsuit as the cause of his so-called suicidal depression.
Mm-hmm.
This mass media have been fed and eagerly swallow the unpalatable lies hurled against a courageous young man whose guilt lies solely in his disgust at the online filth from respectable, quote-unquote respectable internet paragons who have deviously corrupted the morals of his generation. America's leading center for computer science has unleashed a campaign of slander against Swartz, who cannot defend himself through the media or in the docket now that he is dead. My personal regret is that he had to act alone without the guidance and support of those faraway people, including myself, who have been fighting against the same vile pedophilic elite. In American society, there are tens of thousands of children that disappear every year without any serious investigation or public concern. The young man assumed the burden of justice on his own and paid the ultimate price for it, using the JSTOR issue as a mere cover for his covert investigation into MIT wrongdoing was an immature tactic, which now undercuts his reputation post-mortem. As traditional journalist and editor, I have never before supported Anonymous and their hacking activity, but the untimely death of Swartz changes the rules of engagement. Well, guess what? Anonymous is co-opted too now.
Yeah.
Striking at the nerve center of the military, corporate, pharmaco-porno complex is an ethical duty, not a crime, one of a few available means to defend constitutional law. To the morally reprobate professors and administrators at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, I say unequivocally, you have started a war that will end when you fall on your swords.
That the military, corporate, pharmaco-porno complex. Wow. Wow.
Okay, so now we're going to go out of order here. From there, we're going to go down to, because I want this. I want to get a little bit more on the claims about JSTOR and what was going on with MIT.
Okay.
I'm going down to this section. MIT has no proprietary right to JSTOR. So just consider these points here. The videotape of Swartz's download led to the MIT complaint that spurred a federal prosecutor in Boston to indict him for pirating online journals distributed by JSTOR, a subscription-based electronic archive of scholarly papers. The charges are patently absurd. Why would a so-called notorious hacker bother with redistributing journal articles that can be purchased at nominal cost or gained for free by students with a department account? Unlike the WikiLeaks trove of diplomatic cables, none of the papers are classified or contain state secrets.
Right.
Why didn't he simply hack into the main JSTOR archive, whose files are accessible in bulk online from dozens of universities? Swartz was a research fellow with the Safra Center for Ethics at Harvard, which also has an institutional account with JSTOR. Given his street cred and past associations, he could have easily found a webmaster with a password to JSTOR server. How can MIT, which is not the owner of the allegedly accessed material, file theft charges against him? That's another thing there, too.
Very interesting, yeah.
The JSTOR archive is not owned or based at MIT, as media reports suggest, but it's registered a network connection server from Herndon, Maryland. JSTOR is under the control of a nonprofit organization called Ithaca. Those boards of directors included top university administrators and the W.W. Norton book publisher. The trespass into a tiny closet was done at MIT, but Ithaca, the party with proprietary rights over JSTOR intellectual property, does not appear as the chief plaintiff. Analogy: whenever a car is stolen from a parking lot, the car owner, not the car hop, is supposed to file charges against the thief.
So MIT was basically spearheading this lawsuit because he broke into like a janitor's closet, essentially.
Right. No, like it would be like more so they MIT is spearheading this lawsuit because he broke into one of their janitor's cars that was parked at Caldor.
Right.
You know,
Right.
It's like it has nothing to do with it. They says, obviously, that's why he says here, MIT has something to hide. Okay, now we're going to go back up to the culprit is MIT, not Schwartz. Okay. It is not Aaron Swartz who should be on trial, but that lofty institution of higher learning, MIT, which is responsible for the heinous crimes that led to his death. The risks taken on by Schwartz, which have so threatened MIT, can be understood only through the issue of child pornography, as orchestrated and produced by its acclaimed professors and distributed to their wealthy and powerful sponsors. The MIT cyber pimps cater to a clientele that includes the highest echelon of the State Department, major corporations, intelligence agencies, the military brass, and the White House. Every element in Schwartz's case indicates that he died in a heroic attempt to expose the perversion that had corrupted heads and minds of the global elite, a heinous and often murderous vice that traumatizes innocent children and threatens every family on the planet. This exposition of the facts is a torturous path that leads from the hallowed Ivy Halls in Boston to the outskirts of Phnom Penh. A world-famous professor arranged underage sexual services for visiting dignitaries and sent encrypted child porn. I don't want to even say it anymore.
CP.
Yeah, via satellite to illicit databases on the MIT campus.
Wow.
Nicholas Negroponte, who is definitely has you'll see, but the Epstein is not mentioned in this initial article from years ago. We have to go through it though. Nicholas Negroponte, you have no place to hide in Southeast Asia or Africa, not any longer. You are under watch, and we will be relentlessly tracking you, not just for the CP and pimping children, but now as an accomplice to murder. Your only way out is to turn over the video files along with the entire list of names, and you better do it sooner than later. Blah, blah, blah. So once again, you say everybody wants accountability. Obviously, this hasn't happened.
No.
Not here. But then we go down to a little farther down. One laptop, just so you know where this is all about.
Yeah.
The one laptop per child project was initiated by the MIT Media Lab founded. Again, this is Media Lab.
Right.
This is where people like Gates
Donated.
by way of Epstein and vice versa are pumping millions of dollars into this. And we also know that by way of MIT comes a lot of their genetic interests.
Yes.
Okay.
People often overlook that part of Epstein. I think in the media, they like to pretend that Epstein is just they say it all the time. Oh, he's just some freak with a fetish. And yeah, he was a bad guy. And, it's probably good that he's dead. End of story. Okay. All gone. Right. As if
hashtag me too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot deeper than that.
So the one laptop per child policy was initiated at MIT Media Lab founder, who is the brother of former UN ambassador and intelligence official John Negroponte. The Zionist brothers have family origins in the Jewish community of Greece. This goes deep.
Yeah. I really appreciated some of this.
No, this goes deep into Sabbatean Frankists, everything. I mean, He ties it in. No stone left unturned. A quick look at MIT Media Lab reveals some questionable characters at the helm. You got Negroponte's major promoter and sidekick has been Stewart Brand, who evolved from being a back-to-nature founder of Whole Earth Catalog to raving advocate for nuclear power and genetic modification and geoengineering. Walter Bender, founder of Sugar Labs, which developed the one laptop per child project. Okay. Frank Moss, who was trained at the Technion Institute in Haifa, a center for Israeli Defense Force cyber warfare and research and development projects. And then you have this Joy Ito who pops. He's got a hard on for Joy Ito.
Yeah, he does.
Hates this guy, who once ran a nightclub in Roppongi, Tokyo's drug peddling prostitution district run by a Yakuza boss whose interest lies in Caucasian models performing corporophilia and bondage.
Corporophilia?
Increasingly favorite video themes besides CP among the American University technocrati. Since he never earned a higher degree, Ito's main qualification is apparently his status as godson of Timothy Leary. For those who are too stoned to comprehend political reality, Leary began his drug experimentation as a psychologist for the MK Ultra mind control program and became a proselytizer of hallucinogens under a CIA PSYOP campaign to disable the anti-war movement.
Man.
MIT Media Lab, he goes on to say this. MIT Media Lab is yet another spin-off from the all-powerful MK Ultra and DARPA. No wonder it's been producing CP and involved in overseas pedophilia. The One Laptop program is a clever vehicle to provide early sex education to children across impoverished Asia and Africa who have yet to reach pubescence.
Wow.
So essentially they're trying to get through this program to make sure every child has access to the internet. It's essentially a way where they can go out there and groom poor kids into accepting these sexually depraved conditions that they might be roped into.
And like everything else, it's under the guise of like, if you were to rail against it, you would be looked upon as some kind of barbarian, because why would you not want these children to have, access to the internet in the information age? Which is what they always do, right? There's always some little kernel of truth and positivity in what is otherwise a very dark, dank corner.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And then comes August 29th, 2019 follow-up on Rents, which I didn't even know happened. So what I was doing was I was just going through. It was a very casual thing for me, Jay. I was just
sounds it.
I was just control F'ing people's names in one article or another against one database and another to see where things were going on. And then I put Yoichi Shimatsu in there. I just put Yoichi Shimatsu Epstein, because Epstein was not mentioned in that initial thing.
Right.
Well, 2019, just after his death, we get this. And I didn't even know it existed. The Epstein-funded CP Hub MIT Media Lab that murdered Aaron Swartz. I mean, he said, okay, let's rope it all in now.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. And now there's a lot there is so much in here.
Yeah, this is super long.
So we're not going to do it all. But here, these crimes of underage abuse footage produced at the MIT Media Lab later culminated in that coven. Oh, well, that's it. In the coven's role in the murder of Reddit editor and anti-pedophile activist Aaron Swartz in January of 2013. I would just like to say, as it is with so many marks, people who've been made into a mark for this type of group, mm-hmm. where whatever their cause for life, whatever their passion in life was, in death, it is then turned around, twisted, perverted. Just to think about what Reddit is today, how it is a hub for Marxist pedophiles, mm-hmm. And meanwhile, its founder was very likely, probably, could be, allegedly, lost his life to be able to combat that very thing. Like, I wonder what Reddit would have been today.
Wow, right. If he had maintained some kind of control over it. So are you a person, and again, this is relatively new to me. I only have very tangential understanding and experience with this, but given the length of time between his death and now, and since he was so bright, do you think that there's evidence of what he was after, that he saved somewhere? I'm like, you know what I mean? Like you would think someone at that, of that intellect and that level of intelligence and understanding would have, I don't know, would have been more careful, or would have had some kind of dead man switch or something to,
You'd think.
I mean, it's been so long, that's why I don't know, but I just was curious what you thought about that, because I'm just unfamiliar with Schwartz.
I mean, isn't that this? Yeah. I don't know what I think. All I know is that we haven't gotten anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that would be one of those. That would be like a movie. One of those movie endings that we've been waiting for a long time. Somebody's dead man switch.
12 years later.
Yeah.
Or 13 years later.
I think we were waiting for John McAfee's dead man switch.
I was just going to say that. That was exactly the name that came to mind, is that like you wonder how long those things take. And if the person who's holding the switch understands that there is maybe a right time to do it. And given everything that's coming out now, maybe you need again, total speculation, but maybe the public needs to be softened to the point where they could accept the reality of the situation, where and maybe, just maybe, again, speculation, that these Epstein drops are the catalyst for that softening, and then all of a sudden you get some more, some of that dead man switch information. I don't know.
Well, there's also that there's quite a few people out there who believe that, you remember that seaside, that oceanfront property in Florida that just kind of fell into its footprint about 6 or 7 years ago?
Oh yeah, I do.
Just fell.
Yeah.
It looked very Building 7.
Didn't that have something to do with McAfee?
Some people believe that McAfee had either an apartment in there, or that is where the dead man switch or whatever device he had set up for release was.
I remember that.
It's just something that's been that floats around.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's a little bit more that he added after Epstein's death here. Farther down that Gates-MIT rabbit hole, Joy Ito again, inside of Plato's Cave, surrounded by a crew of likewise dodgy characters. The petition is online, but the Daily Beast Taylor Hatmaker has done a great job of condensing it. Quote, some of the prominent signers of the petition to keep Ito over there at MIT include former presidential candidate Lawrence Lessig, Whole Earth catalog creator, a tech icon Stuart Brand, managing partner of MIT's Media Labs venture fund Habib Haddad, MIT Media Lab founder Nicholas Negroponte, Little Bits founder and CEO Ayub Dare, and Harvard genetics professor George Church. Church previously apologized for his own connections to Epstein.
Everyone's apologizing.
Chalking the relationship up to a nerd tunnel vision.
Oh my.
Nerd tunnel
vision.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was nerding out.
Yeah, I didn't.
Tunnel vision. There's actually a light at the end of a tunnel. These benighted ignoramuses are more like those blind believers inside of Plato's cave.
Well done.
So now that Church is outed as an Epstein researcher, we're right back to transhumanism, which is not a transition for humanity, but a genocide in planning that can more accurately be called the post-human future. The robotization of our simian species to function like intelligent machines, albeit with less efficiency. Among that list of MIT Media Lab notables, one can detect is a Turing machine logic that reduces human cognition to electromechanical imaging, processing, and patterning programs as opposed to our mammalian intuitive natural perceptions and surreal leaps of logic. The Media Lab promotes interdisciplinary attempts to render thought into algorithms, essentially in denial of human propensity to higher calling, as well as our negation capability to hold out for a more demanding solution than what's on offer. Or as Nancy Reagan put it, just say no. And that is exactly why the managerial class prefers mechanics over human intelligence. At a macro level, the post-human agenda is to turn maddeningly complex human society into an ant colony.
Absolutely.
Okay? This is big because, of course, what Epstein and his joint ventures with Bill Gates, that has everything to do with the future of humanity on a pharmaceutical level, on a genetics level, who knows what else? You tend to wonder what's going on here.
This next paragraph is amazing.
This is the next paragraph right here. George Church, molecular biologist specializing in genetic editing, CRISPR, was co-initiator of the Brain project launched by President Barack Obama, which is, face it, folks, a continuation of MKUltra. Using plug-in chips to fine-tune cognition after the initial experiments by those pioneering doctors Sidney Gottlieb. With LSD studies, and Ewan Cameron, through electroshock therapy, produced such excellent results in the assignments for Mark David Chapman and Whitey Bulger.
Yeah, people forget. And the Unabomber was also, I believe, was part of some of those experiments. That's wild.
No, it's so much. But when it comes down to Bill Gates, because I said, okay, so Shimatsu is finally is really mentioning a lot. There's a lot about Epstein because MIT Media Labs, and it's all connected. I said, all right, well, let me control F. As soon as I found this, Gates. And bingo bango. So everybody got in on this one. Here it is. First one pops up. This is the only place where Bill Gates is mentioned. The section called Global Population Reduction.
What a surprise.
Bill Gates has been a guest, at least on one flight aboard Epstein's Lolita Express Boeing 727. Their secretive encounter goes a long way toward understanding the hidden agenda behind transhumanism, which is the planned genocide of the major of the human population, which will eliminate more lives than all previous genocidal events in the past history. Never mind Himmler's drop in the bucket compared to the Gates-Epstein plan for mass destruction, the very tact that androids are going to be needed as workers and personal assistants indicated that at least 7 billion people are being targeted in the soon-coming clean sweep.
Now, remember, this is 2019, so this is pre-COVID.
He published this like three months before Event 201. Okay. The biowarfare labs certainly have sufficient deadly pathogens to accomplish the task, while elites will be in Earth orbit or on moon bases.
Or underground, like where, what's his name? Meta, Mark Zuckerberg has his...
Oh, no. And I'm going to talk about this on Thursday night. I think that we're going to, in the first half of Thursday night's show, Jason Burmis is going to call in. But in the second half, I told Frank and Jim Zell, I said, you listen, call in for a couple of minutes, at least in the second half, because this brought me back to this article that I wrote on Quite Frankly.tv. It's an old show notes article that I put together. It's actually more of a thread because I published it in July of 2019. And we were talking about Epstein, bunkers, John Benet Ramsey, and more. And this is what it came down to. I have messages from Jim and Frank Zell in here. It was Jim back in 2019 that sent this my way. He said, hey, Frank, not sure if my brother sent this to you or not. The Lifeboat Foundation is an organization with a focus on saving humanity through science. They have a space habitat program, and within that program is a bunker and tunnel program initiative. And here it is right here. Oh, wait. Let's see if all of that's...
I can sign up for the Bunker and Tunnel Initiative program?
Here it is. So, essentially you can... Well, I don't know what... This has changed since then.
Okay.
But let me go over here. And who do you think happens to be on the board of this group that just so happens to have a bunker and tunnel program? Jeffrey Epstein. And it was... And he gave me an archive. We got an archive. This is an old version of that website, the Lifeboat Foundation Advisory Board, Jeffrey Epstein.
My God.
And what they do was they build underground facilities that look very much like what that temple on top of his little hill over there on the island could have been, and probably no doubt was.
Frank, the media told me that was a gym, I think. It's just a gym. Just some Nautilus equipment, some free weights.
No, I'm sure.
And some resistance bands.
So I'm surprised that Lifeboat is still out there. But
wow.
So he emailed the end of the email by asking, I wonder what's underneath that temple on Little St. James. Because, there's been a lot of course. So you mentioned saving humanity through science. So not only is there an outer space element to it, but there's also an underground element to it, which a lot of the super wealthy are diving into
almost
these
like
days.
They know something,
right?
Or planning something.
So he goes on. Where the hell is it?
Second paragraph, right?
Second paragraph.
Transhumanism
has genocidal implications of technology-enabled savagery at its most extreme, which is why I prefer the most accurate term of the post-human order. This is, in this regard, it is quite fitting for Joy Ito to being a Japanese citizen to be running the project, much like the modernization campaign at Nanking, achieved by eliminating its native population in 1937 to 38. From the perspective of reducing the total number of births worldwide, This anti-humanistic agenda has been advanced through investment in promoting sexual identity movements, since homosexuality and transgender options result in birth rate reduction without surgical intervention. Partner androids and far more advanced present technology sex dolls will be the means to maintain the illusion of normative coupled relationships while precluding the potential for breeding offspring. And then, of course, there is just mass sterilization.
Yeah.
You know, and so if as we go on, because what I've heard is that this is not going to be the last release.
Right.
Just keep your eyes out for more on MIT and all of these people. I would just like to see how this is. It's already directly connected.
Yeah, and I think this is the most interesting, or I don't know if it's the most interesting, but it's an often underexplored, as you said, piece of this puzzle. That, you know, the Zorro Ranch, I think was the name of the ranch in New Mexico. People don't even talk about that very often. And we know that he was interested in, you know, whatever, creating a master race with his genetics as the, you know, the seed, for lack of a better term. And, you know, so like I said, I think it's interesting, some of the people that have popped up in this, and I don't know if you want to go over to this side, you know, from the things that I had uncovered, because I do think that it's related. Actually, one thing I didn't tell you, and I don't know if, I know you've covered this story on your show before, but I just found this out today. Brian Johnson was mentioned and had
is
correspondence.
That the immortal guy?
Yes, it is.
That freak?
Yes, it is.
That silly putty man.
Yep.
Listen,
so that didn't surprise me, but I was like, whoa. So
here's something for you.
Yeah.
When I was promoting tonight's show, somebody named Chris on the Telegram said, I would love to know what Jay thinks about Peter Attia being in the Epstein files.
Oh, I got a lot to say.
So go ahead.
Well, so I don't even know where to begin, Frank. This is like, we're talking in the last 72 hours, and I've had a very strange week. So I have not really been able to I haven't been able to work in my normal schedule or even like work in my normal environment. So I'm a little scattered when it comes to this. So I've been trying to pull things together. But Peter Attia is a very interesting character for a lot of reasons. If the audience doesn't know who he is, he's been on Joe Rogan. He's been on 60 Minutes. I think he had a deal with CBS as like a longevity expert. He's very, very well known in this field. I came across him 10 or 11 years ago. Ironically, actually, had personal correspondence with him through email, 10 years ago, which was right around the same time that he was emailing Jeffrey Epstein. So just kind of an interesting side note. But in my field, people know him as an incredibly reputable source for all things medicine, right? He's just, like I said, he's been on Rogan. Everyone defers to him as an expert. Well, when this stuff dropped on the 30th over the weekend, everybody was messaging me like, hey, what do you think about Peter Attia? And so, of course, the first moment you see things, what do we have to do today? We have to discern whether, is it even real, right? Like maybe someone who's got it out for Peter Attia puts some fake emails out there and you're like, and everyone jumps the gun. Well, it turns out now at this point, it's real. You can go to the .gov site, you can see it. And Peter Attia has also put out several statements to his own staff about this. That is him. Yep. So when I'm trying to think of how best to approach it. So again, he's a longevity expert. I'm going to read you some of the correspondence with him and Jeffrey Epstein because I think it's really important. You know, I've been reading a lot of comments, some people defending him, some people saying, oh, just because you have correspondence. And certainly the 30,000 foot view, a person could say, well, Jeffrey Epstein was rich. This guy's like a concierge doctor. And this relates to my interaction with him. So I approached him in 2016. I actually still have the emails. I looked them up last night to be sure that I had the dates. It was March of 2016. And very naive I was at that point, right? I mean, I haven't even gone to school yet for anything. I'm in my initial independent research stage, and I'm starting to like uncover that, everything that I thought about cholesterol is wrong. And he was a big cholesterol person. That's kind of where I first stumbled upon him, in the old YouTube algorithm. So I reach out to him randomly because remember, I don't think he's even a New York Times bestselling author at that point. He wasn't too big to reach out to and he responded to me. So I go back and forth with him, and I'm asking him about certain things. And I actually wanted to work with him as in some capacity, maybe even a patient, but also maybe just as a, I don't know, a researcher or something. I was very interested in what he was doing. And he came back to me and said, well, Jay, if you want to work with me, you have to be willing to spend about as much money on your health as you would for a really nice car. That was his actual, that was his response to me. And I was like, and I made some joke about that I drive a Jeep Wrangler with like over 150,000 miles at the time. And I'm like, well, probably not going to be a good fit. So that was the last kind of correspondence I had. But he was sort of like, he's always been this kind of arrogant guy. And now, according to people like Dave Asprey, he charges somewhere in the neighborhood of like $250,000 for his services. So he is like, so you could say, well, this guy, obviously he would know Jeffrey Epstein because Jeffrey Epstein was, rich and he was getting health advice, and he sure was. But I got to read you some things, and you guys can make your own decisions about Peter Attia. So some of the just a chronology here. I just wrote some things down. So 2015, Attia emails Epstein about their friendship's outrageous nature and lamenting the inability to share details publicly, including graphic jokes and health advice. I'll read some more specifics. But remember, this is 2015. When did Jeffrey Epstein plead guilty to his underage prostitution?
I was
crimes?
like 12 or 13.
I think it was 2008.
8?
I think.
Like
Yeah.
12? Okay.
It was prior anyway. So Peter Attia knew exactly who he was. Attia boasts about the secrecy of their relationship in an email titled, "Got a Fresh Shipment." Now, Peter Attia says, much like Bill Gates asking for medication, Peter Attia claims this is about metformin, an anti-diabetic drug that Peter Attia thinks is a longevity drug. It's not, but anyway. January 2016, Attia tells Groff, the secretary of Jeffrey Epstein, that he's experiencing JE withdrawal.
Jeffrey Epstein withdrawal?
Yeah.
I need more Jeffrey.
This guy sounds like a 16-year-old girl at a high school lunch table. He's pathetic. And this is supposed to be a pillar, remember, in my community.
Is there any, we have limited context, but could it possibly be anything else?
I don't know. I'm going to read you some more of the emails. I just wanted to give you the timeline because people the comments that I've seen are like, well, we didn't know about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, in 2015-16, it was far more in the public eye than it was in, like, if this was 2006 or 7, I could have given him a grace period, but he was already a convicted sex offender at this time.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the Bill Gates defense. Like, well, we just went to dinner. And Peter Attia has come out and said, I'm ashamed of all this, to which I say, yeah, apologizing after you've been caught is not the same as apologizing, okay? You're sorry you got caught. You're not sorry you did what you did because you're an arrogant prick. That's really the truth. Let's see. And then, all the way up to 2019, which is, that's when Epstein didn't kill himself, right?
Right.
Right. Actually dated September 11th, 2019. So
he's already gone.
August. Oh yeah, this says September 11th. Interesting. Continued casual exchange, including Attia seeking advice on personal matters and praising Epstein's post-conviction knowledge. Okay, so he knew all about this stuff. So I'll just read you a couple things. We won't belabor the point, but I have actually the email in front of me. He's the subject of this email is, did you ever go to the Caymans? And Jeffrey, this is Attia writing to Jeffrey Epstein. I need to visit sometime. And Attia says, I bet it's not as good as Little St. James. And Epstein says, 0. There are other people there, meaning like, I guess he doesn't spend time there because it's a lot better on a private island.
Right.
Which is just kind of wild. Let's see. This is when, he emailed Leslie Groff in 2016. I go into JE withdrawal when I don't see him.
Oh, God.
So you tell me what you make of that. And again, these are all from justice.gov. So,
geez, that's pathetic.
2015 emails, key excerpt, June 24th, 2015, quote from Attia, the biggest problem with becoming friends with you, the life you lead is so outrageous, and yet I can't tell a soul. And the subject line of that email was, got a fresh shipment. It includes other crude remarks. Kids, you might want to leave the room for a quick second here. Includes other crude remarks like, pussy is indeed low carb. I mean, so again, remember, so I'll say two things. You can you can still be incredibly intelligent and have terrible judgment, and that Atiyah is very intelligent, but I do think that his judgment, I think that's part of the picture when you're getting health advice from somebody. And then the last one is pretty staggering. And one of the things that I thought, the first email I saw was just that one, the low carb comment. And I was like, okay, that sounds like Peter Atiyah, because he's just, when you see him talk, he's just an arrogant prick, right? And he just thinks he's better than everybody and smarter than everybody. But later emails show an ongoing friendship, including Atiyah's praising of Epstein's lifestyle, discussing infidelity advice, and coordinating meetings or blood draws, because I guess there was some medical relationship between them. And one report, which I showed you, Frank, that the Daily Beast reported, one report ties a 2017 exchange to a period when Atiyah's infant son was in cardiac arrest, and Atiyah allegedly chose to stay with Epstein instead.
His son was in cardiac arrest.
Yeah, had some kind of, yeah. And I have to finish. I found that article in the Daily Beast on the way up here, and I haven't been able to finish reading it. So again, this is all like kind of real time stuff. So I'll say it again. I have a ton of disagreements with Peter Atiyah on a variety of things. And again, Dave Asprey has come out and kind of said, he interviewed Peter Atiyah, this was years ago, and said, I'll save you the money from reading his book, and I'll save you the $250,000 working with him. He's going to tell you to take statins, take the COVID vax, and pretty much there's nothing you can do to extend human lifespan. Like that's what he has to offer for, and he might tell you to take metformin as a longevity drug. He's really, I find it interesting because when I first started reaching out to him, I respected his knowledge. But remember, this was 2015 or 16 when I really had not gone to school or hadn't had any formal education. And it's interesting as a human, as you start to like accrue knowledge yourself, it's interesting how your perspective on other people changes. And as I've gotten more educated and read some of the scientific literature myself, my opinion of Peter Atiyah has actually gone down lower and lower because he isn't a very curious person. He's incredibly intelligent and he can recite raw data to you like nobody else, but he doesn't have much wisdom. He doesn't have the ability to apply it. And people actually, even from this show, have tagged me in posts of his saying, well, Peter Atiyah doesn't think fasting is very healthy. And, I always say, that's great. I completely disagree. What do you want me to say? Peter Atiyah, I have to agree with everything this guy says because he's some kind of pillar in the community. Well, I think that it's important now to take all of this stuff in context because again, you may be very intelligent, but the wisdom at which you move through the world matters and your judgment matters. And so if that's true about his son, and if that's true about the fact that he knew what Jeffrey Epstein was doing because he's talking about his lifestyle, what he knew, I can't speculate, and he never said anything, and he never, and he just continued to carry on in this like sort of childish manner, J.E. withdrawal, like he's trying to suck up to this billionaire, which I'm sure he is in some way because Peter Atiyah is all about the money. And then I said to you before we went on air, I said, let's just play a little game. Let's speculate. 6 degrees of separation. Epstein and Gates, friends. Atiyah and Epstein, friends. If you didn't know it, Peter Atiyah was very pro-COVID shot. So who's to say that Bill Gates, I have no evidence of this. Again, I'm just being very clear. It's pure speculation. But couldn't Gates have said, you're very respected and you are on 60 Minutes and CBS and you're on Joe Rogan. It would be really great if you supported the COVID measures because, so how do we know Peter Atiyah's medical opinion isn't for sale? This is why this stuff matters. It's not that he can't memorize a whole bunch of material out of a textbook. And if he was sitting next to me, he could make me look foolish on several topics, I'm sure. But that's not all there is to integrity and to intelligence. There is more to it. And I think this sheds a light on the character of the man. And I think it's important to take in context.
Well, there's several things that I think are a little bit more wide, bigger picture about that whole thing there too, is that people are either, in a case like that, are either motivated by some direct payoff.
Right.
They either think that they're going to be able to trade up 1 or 2 levels of status and influence, get a little bit deeper into the in crowd, and of course the financial benefits of doing that as well too. Grant money,
yes,
a board of directors position somewhere, just being able to have the associations, and then there are people who are just completely lost to the spell of authority. And I mean, I know that at least the doctors in my life who were pushing one thing or another, yet perhaps some of them were getting it. We know the kind of kickbacks that were being that every doctor's office is getting for shots or for any of the pharmaceutical reps that go into a doctor's office. There is a lucrative,
oh yes,
one hand washes the other kind of a situation that goes on there. And I remember sitting down, going to our pediatrician's office, which was a shared office. So there was another doctor that had their own practice there in another room, and I'm hearing them talk with their secretaries about they have a full is nonstop just scheduling people to come in for shots.
Yeah,
and I'm just thinking about just the money that's going on there. So I understand that even for the little person, there's some sort of a kickback, something that just really makes rent for the whole year and then some. But on top of that, there is also just obedience to the central authority. Like when a medical professional friend of ours, and I'm talking MD of ours, wasn't even selling us anything, but actually said, well, you don't have to worry about the flu shot this year because everybody's been wearing, this was in 2021-ish. Yeah, I wouldn't even say you guys even have to worry about the flu shot anyway, because everybody's been wearing the masks lately and the flu is almost nothing. That the flu numbers, the infection numbers are almost gone.
Just can't take that one more step.
That's why I had my mouth was open. I think I actually covered. I think I covered my mouth.
Damn! I wish I had a mask on.
I said,
yeah.
Wow. Do you think the flu disappeared because of the mask? You don't think the flu has been recategorized, that it's still out there? I couldn't believe that. So I understand we're dealing with several layers of. I mean, it's a very, very. It's a hulking monster.
It is. And I'm not going to pretend I can crawl inside the mind of somebody, but I do want to give one last other story about Peter Attia. And I hope this kind of puts to rest the whole, because I can't tell you how often people send me things from him and I'm just like, listen, I don't agree with the man on fasting. I don't agree with him on cholesterol. I know he's an MD. It's great. It doesn't mean I have to agree with him. There are plenty of MDs I don't agree with. There are plenty of MDs I do agree with. I don't know why Peter Attia gets this place in the pantheon, again, or maybe now I do know why. Maybe I know why he's sort of thrust into places where I don't feel like he belongs. That he seems to always, he's on the New York Times bestseller, and he's on Joe Rogan, and he's on CBS, and he's on 60 Minutes. I don't know. Maybe he bought some of that time, or maybe he did the right things with the wrong people. I don't know, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with him. But this last piece of information, I think, is, again, it's important because I personally, it's just me, but I consider the character of the person, if I can, I consider the character of the person who is giving me information, I did this with my professors. I had plenty of professors that taught me that I respected, and then I had some that I didn't, Frank. And if I had a professor that I didn't respect, I respected them because they were my professor, but I didn't walk out of there listening to them like I did other professors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you use your gut, you use your human intuition, and you go, this person has been there, done that. I trust the way they're speaking to me, that they have respect for the field. They have, and I judge people based on their curiosity. And as you know, and I've said a million times on this show, I judge, especially medical professionals, how they behave during COVID. That was the Super Bowl. It's good timing for all this talk about the Super Bowl, because if you're the quarterback of a team that gets you to the Super Bowl, and every time you get there, you shit the bed, I don't think I want you on my team anymore. Right. And so during COVID, if you were one of those doctors and he made an ass of himself going on podcasts with people like another clown of a doctor, his name is Z-Dog. Yeah, this doctor calls himself Z-Dog. I'm sure you guys have seen his crap on YouTube. He's another jackass. And these two jackasses, I can't believe there was enough room for the two egos on this podcast. And they just were incessant about everything. And what I'll say about Peter Attia, this last thing, is that I don't even remember what year this was, but he did a TED Talk where he stood up there and he talked about diabetes. And to his credit, this is when I first came across him. And this is how scary it is, because I believed him this is one of the first introductions I had to him. So it must have been like 2015, 14 or 15 or something. He did a TED Talk where he was saying that, like, you know, I used to judge people that had diabetes, that it was, you know, it was all their fault, and it was all this. And I was, you know, he was a surgical resident, and he used to, you know, be in the room with amputations. And he said, I remember looking down, I'm paraphrasing, I haven't seen this TED Talk in a while, but you can look it up. I used to look down at all these people because, you know, I said, it's your fault you're here, and, you know, you deserve what you get. And basically what he was saying was, then I learned about nutrition, and I learned what diabetes really was. And I realized that people were getting incorrect advice. And all of a sudden, you know, my feeling on diabetes changed, and I started to see these people as the victims they were. And he actually started to cry. And at the time, I thought, wow, how cool is that? A doctor willing to get up there and at a TED Talk and be emotional about his transformation. What you have to understand about humans is that if you sincerely learn that lesson and yet can't continue to apply that lesson to the rest of your life, the humility, right? If you're sincerely in that place, hopefully what you've attained in that moment is some humility, and you go, you know, even I can be wrong. With all my intelligence and all my training and all the money I've spent on my education, even I can be wrong. I'm going to learn that lesson and carry it into other areas of my life. Well, he didn't do that. He is just as arrogant as he was then. So either he just truly didn't learn the lesson, or those were just kind of crocodile tears, and that was all part of his whole shtick. And I don't know the answer to that question, but I think it's really interesting that he did that whole big charade. I always bring that up when people talk about him. I'm like, yeah, I saw him cry about how he was wrong about diabetes, yet somehow if you come after him, or even not, let me take that back, not even come after him. If you bring up the subject of cholesterol and try and say, hey, you know, I think there's more to the cholesterol story than just good and bad cholesterol, and, you know, you want to just reduce your cholesterol indiscriminately because it's trying to kill you, he will take you to task like he has all the answers. And I'm like, hey, you remember that TED Talk that you gave, you know, when you were wrong about diabetes? Didn't you carry any of those lessons into the future? And the answer is he didn't. So you put, the audience can take all of that in context. If you like this guy, and I'm sure some people in the audience really do, that's fine. I'm just giving you all the information. You make the judgments. I've had personal interactions with him. I've seen him enough. I've read him enough. I've watched enough interviews because, again, I used to be a fan. I'm no longer a fan, and I think he is wrong about most things. And now I question his very character because I did not expect to see Peter Attia. Again, this is not the guy you would expect to see in this world, you know?
Well, again, when you see this, when you see people swept up in something like this, you have to imagine that their motivations for everything is suspect. Everything. Yeah. I mean, for example, and here's some crazy stuff, like moving from medicine even to entertainment. Piers Morgan, I think today, I saw it posted by Vigilant Fox. Well, it was last night. Piers Morgan had, what's his name? Brett Ratner on to ask him about this picture that he had taken with Jeffrey Epstein and these two young girls. And you have to listen to this response. It's pretty uncomfortable, and it's ridiculous.
Everything on Piers Morgan is uncomfortable.
I know. But take a listen to this. Hold on. I don't know who he's with, but I'll get out of the way here too. Listen to this.
Brett, I want to just switch gears quickly to the very serious and big stories in the news, the Epstein files. As you know, a picture came out of you with Jeffrey Epstein with two apparently young women in it. What is your response to that picture? And what is your response to the wider scandal of the Epstein files?
Oh, well, that picture in particular happened around 20 years ago. I don't know, 19 to 21 years ago, because that is a photograph of my fiance who invited me to this event. And that's where the picture was taken. I was never been in contact with Jeffrey Epstein before that photo, and I was never in contact with him after. So that's a picture of me and my fiance at some event.
First of all, I can't tell you how many times in my life I will cozy up on a couch like that with somebody I just met that night. Hey, thanks for the party. Can we all take it?
It's a very intimate picture.
Yeah.
For someone you don't know. But that seems to happen a lot.
So who was the fiance, if you don't mind me asking?
She doesn't want me sharing her name in the case, but that's my fiance, 100%.
Still?
Was my fiance.
But you're not still.
I'm not
I was
with
going to
him
say you're not
anymore.
still with that.
No.
He's not engaged. It's the world's longest engagement,
No,
20 years.
20
That's
years
what I
ago,
was
I was
saying.
engaged to her when that photo was taken.
Oh.
Right.
Yes.
And your position is you never met Epstein before or after that picture, that night.
No, never.
Say it again.
Listen, just I don't know, man.
Wow.
Here's the thing.
I don't trust anybody, Frank.
It's
Hell
one.
no.
It's one thing for all the skirts to be lifted up right now, but then again, okay. Here's a Hollywood director that took a picture with him. Was at a party, and perhaps maybe he didn't know. Maybe he didn't know like what the overall was. But again, like what we focused on tonight with the MIT thing. That is an open door into another worldwide and international human pain harvesting organization. I mean, it goes down to mind control, it goes down to grooming, to human trafficking, child abuse, and also just spying there too.
Right.
I mean,
No, and that's why I look. It's a bad look for someone like Peter Attia. I'm not accusing him of any wrongdoing. Again, unless he actually, unless we find out that he actually did do something wrong and then he deserved to be punished to the full extent of the law. I also have real questions about when he's talking about what a great lifestyle Epstein lives. What do you mean by that, Peter? What do you know about his lifestyle? Because then, I mean, you're not coming to the defense of any of these women that are being abused. Like, you're a scumbag. Okay, yeah. So that's so there's that. You're a coward, right? You're a coward, and you're a doctor, so you're supposed to be helping people. So that's strange. And the last thing I'll say, on the picture, a perfect example of this. Like, you can't just take a picture and say, okay, we know everything. Like, how?
Oh, I understand.
No. And I'm supporting what you're saying because I do think it's important to sort of take the other perspective. Like, you and I had the VIP event here. I don't know everybody that I took a picture with.
Who knows how many sex offenders were there?
Exactly. There could have been a room full of them. No, just kidding. I love you guys. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be responsible for everyone you ever take a picture with. Like, people do that with Donald Trump all the time. It's like, you know how many pictures that guy's taken with people? Stop it. You can't.
Here.
But we have context for a lot of these other things, and it's very different if that was that guy's fiance. I mean, again, I couldn't see that girl's face, but she looked very young.
There was no ring.
I was going to say, did she know she was your
There
fiance?
was no ring.
Or is that in your mind?
Someone would risk, for example, I was reading through one piece, and we have the lines open here, guys. Call in 914-200-0269. We have about 20 or so minutes before I want to give a friend of ours a call. We have some winners of the Keto Brainz winners that I want to call up Molly real quick on the phone to have her read off the 4 names.
Nice.
So call in because we're gonna leave it open, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. But I saw this one piece of information there about an email that was supposedly sent to the FBI about people women who were killed and buried in the desert and all that stuff, and that they would for the price of a Bitcoin or if you give me a Bitcoin, I'll tell you where they are or something like that. And we're talking like 2019 or something like that when Bitcoin was only like $8,000.
Right.
It feels, I don't know why they would. I looked at that and I'm like, would somebody really risk their entire life to reveal that kind of information for one Bitcoin in 2019?
Yeah.
So, there's strange stuff that was going on there. And that's why I'm saying there is stuff in here you have to understand, we have to assume is bullshit. That is just the FBI picks up a lot of things that are sent to them. A lot of it is unverified. A lot of it is that's not credible. There's no contact information. But that should not take away from all the work that came to establishing how all of this exists prior to this release. You have to understand that, these things have been sitting, these files have been sitting inside of the walls of these agencies and bureaus for years. And we know that the FBI and the CIA are a part of the operation. They have been a part of the operation from its inception with international partners as well. That was our biggest running joke when the Ghislaine Maxwell trial was being sped through the court in New York City. They were speeding that through court on account of, they said a new COVID outbreak was on the way, and they needed to wrap up the trial quickly. We were making jokes about that because we said that the whole Ghislaine Maxwell trial was essentially a game of chicken between several factions of feds. Yeah. And so we said it was a game of chicken. And so you think about the time that they had to piece stuff together, to inject obfuscating nonsense into this here too. There's going to be just a lot of attention grabbing, lightning rod kind of shit. I mean, they remember these are the agencies that created the term conspiracy theorist. Yeah. So you also have to remember there's going to be salacious, nonsensical stuff that are thrown in there for effect and for sensationalism, and you have to be able to balance it all out and just don't be a dog chasing tires, because it's there is that. Yeah. Did you ever see the documentary Out of Shadows? Yeah. Yeah. That was I thought that was. That's the one that largely had a lot of Liz Crokin's work with Pizzagate. Yeah, and this reminds me of that, and again, anytime the media vilifies the messenger and sort of makes fun of the end product, like Pizzagate is always kind of thrown around as like, you're not one of those people, and it's like, what do you mean? Because every time we get more information on people, like we were saying at the beginning. How many coincidences have to start to stack up before you start to think, I mean, shouldn't we be looking deeper into this? And like you said, these files have been sitting there for how long? And we get fixated on the name Jeffrey Epstein. But I remember Isaac Cappy saying, Epstein, like they're all Epsteins. Like this is just one guy. And I had seen this one statement that was pretty profound. I mean, she's done some great work, and I think it's fair to say that this is a really great way of putting it all together. But I saw Whitney Webb, a comment that she made on some broadcast at some point in recent years about Palantir. Mm-hmm. Just saying that Jeffrey Epstein's role in organizations, hierarchical organizations like that of people, is just no longer really necessary anymore. I mean, obviously, human resources, loyal human resources, they're all fellow travelers. There's always going to be that. But as far as the whole intelligence gathering operation, that aspect of Epstein, Palantir's Jeffrey Epstein. Palantir's it's the biggest honeypot. Every keystroke, every email that we never sent, I mean, it's just like if they. No, I know. It's frightening to think about it. But let's take a call. 504, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Howard, this is Jackie Martling from Howard Stern. You remember me?
Jackie Martling? From Howard Stern?
Yeah. Howard.
Are we getting a Howard Stern prank?
Howard Stern.
He's trying.
He's the last remaining Howard Stern listener.
He's trying. Howard only has like 7 more.
That's how old they are too.
I bet you. Can you imagine? He like takes that clip and tries to get it to Howard.
I did it.
We did it.
You were supposed to say Baba Booey.
Yeah. Howard. All right, let's see here. Scott, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, it's Scott. It's Scott's wife.
Oh, hello, Sorry. Scott's wife. Go ahead.
Scott's wife.
Hi, Jay.
Hey.
Hi, Frank.
Hello.
Love you guys. How are you?
Doing well. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to call, and I just wanted to call and say, so I grew up going to Newport, Rhode Island in the late 90s. And there was a lot of stuff going on with the yachts, with the mega yachts there. I think a lot of trafficking, a lot of crazy stuff. This has been going on everywhere forever.
I believe it.
So that's the first thing, right? I mean, it was like, during the America's Cup and stuff. It's everywhere, literally. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I wanted to say. Second thing I wanted to say is, I love you guys, and I know this is like kind of a left ball thing. We haven't heard anything about the plane crash in Maine or the helicopter crash in New York City at all. And I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that. And that's it. And I love you guys, and God bless.
Thank you so much.
The helicopter crash in the Hudson, right? I can't remember the family that was on there. It was like it wasn't a royal family, but it was a family.
You're talking about the one from last winter?
Maybe, right? That's the only one I can think of.
I remember one happening, but we're talking at least months.
Yeah. But the family that was on it was of some relevance, I think. Oh, we should have got more information.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's we can
I'll look it up while you take a call. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on real quick. I have a couple of super chats. I have some more calls coming in. We'll get the calls coming in. 914-200-0269. Shotzi. Hello, Shotzi. Thank you so much. Stowe Stoop says, good evening, Jay and Frank. Thanks for the listen, gents. Well, thank you for being here. And over on, let me see here. We have John Michael on YouTube also says, thanks, Frank, for a great 2025 highlighting many aspects of the human condition. Oh, well, I'm glad you liked last year. I'm glad last year is gone. Corey J over on Pilled. Thank you, Corey. It's good to have you. Delona, thank you. Safety Net says, love bomb from me to you. Intuit are you says, great show, Frank. Andrea says, great show tonight. Love the Zell Brothers vibe. Well, they'll be on with us a little bit later in the week. Not Your Mom says, I always wondered why Joe Rogan fangirled Teal.
Tia.
No, Teal.
Oh, Teal. Sorry.
Probably just because, Joe Rogan and high tech people and futurism, and I don't know. I think at a time it was a lot easier to get excited about where we were going technologically until you realized how much we were giving of ourselves, of the species, our actual of our essence to this thing. Like what's the appropriate cost for high tech? The appropriate how much do we have to give up for that?
Yeah.
And does it complement us, or does it have to take something more?
And my perspective has definitely changed on that, because I was always like an early adopter to that stuff. I always thought technology was really cool, and but again, you live in a sort of naivete where you think it's just a tool, and it can be used for nefarious purposes. And
Dean said, Frank, I'm going to need that little computer. I had to burn my old one thanks to the Epstein guy. I'll meet you after the show. I've been wearing that tiny hat. Shalom. Brewbark says, Palantir, one ring to rule them all. Oh yeah, by the way, just to let you guys know again, that tonight's super chats tomorrow, because of the prize, I'll just announce it on Thursday night. So all this week, if you send a super chat in across YouTube, quite frankly, superchat.com, the Rumble, or the gold pills on Pilled, we've got this Blackview mini PC. It's a slightly older one, but it was not opened. And it's listen, it's good. It's the N95 Intel. It is not open. You can look at it, check it out for yourself.
Nice.
And get all the stats. Either way, it's a mini computer.
By the way, that was the husband in that family,
straight from MIT Media Labs.
Helicopter crash was a top executive at global technology company Siemens.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew that he was some kind of like tech CEO.
I'm also going to be throwing in the Flip City Parodies edition that they have here, and then also probably tomorrow I will put in a gift from Jane Barlow, which will actually come signed. So there's that. Let's take a call. All right, here we go. Drew, you there? No? Joy, go ahead.
I want to talk to Frank.
Go ahead, Joy.
And Jay about, hi. My father is 92 and he keeps falling on the floor and I can't get him up. I was wondering if he knew any way to help me.
You want to help you with what exactly?
How do I handle this? How do I get him up off the floor? What do I do?
I don't know, Joy. If you're talking about how to physically hoist him off the floor,
get help.
I called the fire department for many times now.
I don't know what to. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Joy. I don't know how to tell you if you.
Is there anything that can help him?
No, you're gonna have you're gonna have to get an aid. You're gonna have to get an aid.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, that's
to help him not fall. I mean, there's a walker and an aid.
Yeah.
I thought she was asking how I can. What's the technique to actually fireman carry somebody?
I thought we were being pranked again.
No, Joyce called in before.
Okay.
It was a real call,
Okay.
but I just don't.
I mean that is a very serious thing, and you really that's with older adults once they fall, that's usually the beginning of the end. So
yeah. Hey, Drew, you there?
I don't believe this. I actually got through. How are you?
Oh, I'm glad you got. I mean, we got a good number of people watching. I thought that we would be flooded with calls and theories. I'm glad you called up. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness, I'm nervous, but I listen to you every day. I'm sorry I don't listen to your live times, but I listen every day, and I adore Jay when you're on the show. And I don't know if you're on particular topics, but I'm just so happy to call and say hi. And like 6-7 months ago, I had this thing happen to me where I believe it's called being floxed. And I always wanted to throw that topic at you guys, if you ever heard of that before.
Being what?
Floxed, Floxed. And I have ear problems, and I would get medicine put in my ear. It's like, oh my God, I'm nervous. I can't believe I'm even saying this to you guys. Have you ever heard of this before?
All right, no, we haven't. But you know what? Maybe on an open lines night, so we can learn a little bit more about it. Thank you for the call. I blame all of you guys at home. There are thousands of you who have been watching this entire damn thing. And what the hell are you doing? Call. I blame you. You're the reason.
I'm going to start making things up. All right, ready? Good. Bring it to me. Off the top of my head.
Oh, I blame you. Why do you do this to me tonight?
Now I know how Art Bell felt.
Oh, man.
I love people.
Yes, no, I do. I do. But we're going to have to learn about floxing on another night.
I am.
Yes. And I'll check it out in a little bit, getting floxed. Okay.
Anybody want to talk about the Super Bowl?
I guess we can go there. If you want. No. Here's something for you.
Yeah.
Here's something for you. Here, take a listen to this. I put this out. It's an old post. It's from 2022. It's considered old now. It's 4 years.
Wow.
Put it out.
2022 is considered old.
I know. Listen. Yesterday. You know what yesterday was? Yesterday was the 2nd of February.
Yeah.
That was 4 years since my grandmother died.
Wow.
She died on February 2nd, 2022.
It's Groundhog Day.
Do you know what also the anniversary was yesterday?
No.
Yesterday was 10 years since the Jeb Bush please clap incident.
I saw you post that. I'm not. Did he read the teleprompter? I forget this.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Bro.
I didn't get the joke, and I normally do.
Hold on.
I must have missed it.
Oh, wait a second.
10 years, so 2012?
10 years. Hold on. Let me get the Jeffrey. Hold on.
This is when he was governor of Florida?
No, this is when he was campaigning.
Oh, okay.
Jeb Bush, please clap. It was one of the most pathetic things.
I'm probably going to remember it once I see it.
There you go. Hold on a second.
Jeb Bush
had an even worse one.
He's having a really bad campaign. Look at this campaign moment. This is in Hanover.
The interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Oh, you remember that? It's been 10 years since Please Clap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also when I posted that, last night, and I got this. Somebody responded back to me with this, and I thought it was hilarious because it made me miss all of these videos from the time that were getting around. So it's the please clap is a phrase used by Jeb Bush on February 2nd, 2016, while campaigning in New Hampshire. It's a pathetic night. And then here's this one. MRC Merritt Conley dropped this into the comments and really brought me back. Take a listen. I remember this one. Oh, they were the best supercuts. That this was the most fun campaign ever. 2016 was so fun.
Listen, repealing Obamacare is not going to be easy.
Passing a simple flat tax and abolishing the IRS is not going to be easy, but if we stand with the American people, we can do it.
Dr. President,
Thank you for including me in the debate. Governor Bush, I want to ask. Yeah. You have said illegal immigrants, quote, broke the law. What does that mean to you, and how does that inform your approach to immigration reform?
Great question.
Jeff is a mess. Jeb Bush is the weakest person on the stage by far. Jeb is a waste, and everybody knows it. He is so weak, it's laughable. Jeb is a mess. Jeb is a waste. Jeb is a mess. Jeb is a big fat mistake.
I gotta tell you, this is just crazy, huh? This is just nuts, okay? Jeez, oh man.
Wait.
Jeez, oh man.
You know, this is the standard operating procedure to disparage me. That's fine. I don't really...
Excuse me, Jeb. Jeb is a big fat mess.
Okay, Governor Bush,
I got to respond to this. The reason why I should be president is... Great question. The reason why I should be president, I feel like I have to...
Excuse me. 2 days ago, he said he would take his pants off and moon everybody. Nasty guy. He's a nasty guy. Jeb is a nasty guy. I want to tell you, I don't often agree with Marco, and I don't often agree with Ted, but I get along with everybody. But I say this every night, every day, every afternoon, and it's so true. Jeb is a mess.
Dude,
That is awesome. Wow.
oh, it's one thing to just lose it. You know, I tried running for president once. It's another thing to have just to be completely. I remember when Jeb was essentially told by Barbara he should drop out. Like she wasn't. His mother wasn't even going to vote for him, and he got destroyed.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer family.
Couldn't have happened to a nice, even though he was the runt of the litter.
It's funny when you say please clap. So if that was Joe Biden, it would have been wait for applause.
Right. Anyway, so that was 10 years ago now.
Wow. Okay. All right.
But this is 4 years ago, and this is something I think it goes back into the perception. While we have a couple of minutes before we have to call up, what's her name, Molly, about the perception of people, okay, and what we're up against, which will actually set the table for what we're going to talk about next time you're in, which was supposed to be what we were going to talk about tonight, okay, and here it is. There's a silent war happening between psychopaths and schizos. We know that the population numbers are very small for either of them, for both groups. However, one group is more likely to become CEOs, those are the psychopaths, and the other is more likely to become homeless, those are the schizos. This is because schizos are good at pattern recognition and can notice the psychos. Normies are incapable of seeing psychopaths in front of them, and psychos relish and dominate because of this. Psychos are able to know them on an instinctual level, schizos are able to know the psychos on an instinctual level and suss them out in a way that normies never could. Thus, there is a constant demoralization campaign against schizos from the tyrant psychos who seek to use the population against their greatest natural enemy.
Yeah.
Okay? And this moment right now is it's not going to be, it'll be good for letting some people sleep at night. Getting a good night's sleep after being called crazy for so long. It's not really worth it. How much worth is it? You know, how much more worth it is it for, you know, suffering all this shit and to actually see the world for the way that it is and not have anybody, you know, put to the sword over it. You know, because we're not talking about shaving points off of a basketball game.
Right.
We're talking about crimes against humanity,
Yeah.
everything, a treason. But here's an even better graph that this was being discussed in the Discord today. So you have the psychopaths, okay, the Rothschild at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at him. He's the immoral and unemotional type. Secretive, subversive, treats like livestock, psychologically abuses. Okay? And the psychopath always beats the normie.
Right.
The normie, of course, is moral and emotional, even though I would say that there's a lot of normies right now who have been completely coaxed into being emotional and immoral.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And identify the normie is there to beat the autist. The normie identifies outsider behavior, enforces societal norms, and causes mental exhaustion for us.
So we're the autists?
We're the autists.
Damn it.
The autist is the moral and unemotional, but I think that even at that point, it's hard to stay unemotional.
I know.
Immunity to propaganda acutely notices patterns and obsessive and studious about it. And that's the big thing. The autists beat the psychopaths, but the big problem is that buffer of the retarded normies.
Yeah.
And we have those, that's
How do we get rid of them?
That's they're our families. I don't know what to do. I don't want to get rid of, I want, these are the people I want to see on Easter, but at the same time, I understand what kind of a liability they are.
To humanity, to society.
That's what do you do? I want them to go. I just don't want them to vote. I just don't want them to vote. That's all.
I mean, watching unfold what has unfolded in Minneapolis, again, it's another one of those moments where you're not going to reach the true NPCs, the ones that, like, if, for instance, in the comments that I've been reading about a lot of the Peter Attia stuff, I can't believe how much defense of him there is. And is that just because they agree with his take on health, or they just want to be confrontational, or they just, I don't know what the reason is. The comments were irrational in their defense of Peter Attia. No one really took a rational position. It was either like, thank you for pointing this out, this is great, we need to know this kind of stuff, or how dare you, he's the best, and it's just like, I mean,
I know
there's an objective reality here, and maybe that's the problem, is that some of the normies think that reality is subjective to whatever their whims are. But I don't know. It's an interesting study in humanity, watching people try to navigate this minefield, because they're constantly being shown the fact that the world is not what you think it is, and they refuse to accept it. And I think Minneapolis is, these people have lost their minds, right? We talked about it last Tuesday, but like, you got people going on TikTok talking about, like actually how to kill ICE officers. How did we go so extreme so fast? It's crazy watching them.
The other thing in there too is I've seen this in Minnesota in particular, where they actually have garbage barriers again in the middle of intersections, and because they got permission from the locals, they are actually. They're setting up borders and checkpoints. First of all, they're out there protesting borders and checkpoints.
Right. Yeah. Walls don't work. Put up that wall.
And they're actually putting up borders and checkpoints to make sure that people coming into the neighborhood are not feds or supporting feds, or like they're actually like asking people who they are, what they're doing.
They're asking for their papers. So they're anti-Nazi. Acting like Nazis.
Have to be.
I see.
Okay, well, you know what? You know who might have an opinion on Peter Attia, real quick?
Who?
Molly. Let's give her a call, because I want to know who our winners are, and then you can ask her that question. It's just gonna be a quick call with her anyway, and then we'll take everybody into the after hours. Hold on, let me see. Where the hell are we at here? Molly, here we go. Molly from Keto, KetoBrainz.com. I can't wait to talk to Molly. It's been a while.
Like a radio contest.
I know.
Hello.
Hello.
Molly from Keto Brainz?
Molly from Keto Brainz.
Hey.
What's going on, Molly?
It's been a while since we spoke to you. How are the holidays? How's everything?
It's good. We lost an amazing dog, and we ended up getting a puppy, and just keep working on our house and trying to keep up with growing a business with two people.
Well, listen, you know what? I have had the honor of being in several Zoom calls with that dog, and I'm so happy that I was able to experience its presence before passing on. And you were very, very attentive, and I'm sorry about your loss. It's always hard losing a pet.
They're just angels. They don't have any of the bullshit that that we've been talking about tonight, or that you guys have been talking about.
Whatever do you mean, Molly? Whatever do you mean?
Humans, man.
Yeah, I know.
There's a reason I'm in Nowhereville, Montana.
I'm coming with you. I'm moving in next door.
Well, you know,
guys can come stay. We have rooms.
I want to hear your your opinions on all of this, especially specific characters. But first, I want to read. Let's get to these winners, because I know that there's a first place winner that has about $450 of products and awesome stuff coming their way, and then 3 follow-up runner-ups. So let's see, who's the grand prize winner.
So our grand prize winner is Melissa Nordness.
I know her.
Oh,
I know her.
Congratulations.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Mel, good job,
And
Mel.
then we actually, I think I took my notes wrong. So there are 4 runners-up
4
that are going to get a full bag of Keto Brainz, a bag of creatine, and a trial packet box of the salty Norwegian electrolytes.
Jeez, that's a lot.
So
I'm on that list, right, Molly? I'm on that list. Jay, just look for my name. It's a letter J. Just the letter J.
Just text me and I'll get you whatever you need.
Just kidding.
Whatever you guys need, just let me know. Your people are amazing. You guys are amazing. It's a pleasure to be a small part of any of this. So always reach out. But we have Elizabeth Favors.
Elizabeth.
We have Joe Moti. Oh, man. Joe, Motycka. I'm not sure how to say that one.
Congratulations, Joe.
Yes.
Joe M.
We have Jonathan Reimers, and we have Shannon Smallwood.
Wow, Salmon Smallwood?
No, Shannon.
Shannon
Not
Smallwood?
salmon.
I was going to say salmon.
That sounds like a place I'd want to live.
Delicious.
Welcome to Salmon Smallwood.
That would be amazing.
In
So
scenic.
yeah, I'll email everyone tomorrow just to let them know, and then I've got all their addresses, so I'll get everything set up to send out tomorrow or the next day.
Well, true to form, Molly went above and beyond and added a 4th runner-up instead of sticking with the 4 total. And
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's a part of the aside from the fact that everything, all of your products, especially the Keto Brainz, is so good. That's why people keep coming back for more. But nobody, maybe somebody out there can match you in customer service. They can't beat you. So Molly, before we go, I want to hear what you have to say about this, because Jay brought up at least one very prominent public health figure. Go ahead. Just what do you think about all the stuff we've been watching? Because in one way or another, the Epstein stuff, it has big time global health impacts, because he was very obsessed with those types of initiatives.
Well, my overall 30,000 foot view and feeling of everything is humans will be humans, and the good and the bad. And, like Jay, I was introduced to him many years ago. My first introduction to him actually came through finding Dominic D'Agostino on Joe Rogan, and then just looking for any podcast where I could learn more from this amazing human that I had never, heard of. And the first time I was introduced to him was him interviewing Dom on his podcast, The Drive. And I had been a fan for a very long time, because he was the one who introduced to me the story of Virta Health. Yeah. And I believe the guy's name is Sammy Innikin, and this whole notion that you had elite athletes that looked like elite athletes who were becoming diabetic and pre-diabetic. And so naturally, I've been accused of being stoic for so many years. I didn't even know what stoic was until there was Google and I could look it up. I am someone that has learned you can like the information that someone is providing and not like the individual.
Sure.
Along with Jay, it has been odd for me to kind of watch how vicious it has felt he has become towards the community that is looking differently at LDL and ApoB.
And fasting.
Yeah. So like, Dave Feldman and
Yeah.
Nick Norwitz and these guys that are really trying to get some nuanced data on the implications of high cholesterol. But my overall feeling about him being in the Epstein list, at first it's like, come on, like this is kind of like normal guy behavior. What do you expect? I think of a kid who is just entranced by someone who is famous and who has money. And it could very well be like, I am a female, but I am kind of more male in the way my brain works. Like you shoot the shit with people and you say certain things to people that you wouldn't say to your grandma.
Sure.
So, perhaps these are just comments made to an individual and being a chameleon and speaking their language. But it's like, for me, like, I don't have time for other people's drama. The big stuff, the little stuff. I think that if people in general did a better job of not being entranced by other humans, whether they be Hollywood individuals, sports individuals, politicians, and just gleaned data. Can we get to a place where as humans, we glean information, chew on it, and decide what we think? I think we would all be better off. And it all just feels like a form of entertainment to the masses that I don't want to participate in. Like, we know some humans are shit. We know there are horrific things out there, but personally, I think we have to stay vigilant with regards to what is spin, what is emotional overreaction from the NPC population, what is real. And I don't think this behavior is any different than any behavior that humans have been participating in since the beginning of sentience.
Yeah.
There's people with good brains and people with not good brains. And there's really bad fucking people out there, and there's really awesome people out there. As far as Peter Attia is like, I have cataloged what I learned from his conversations with people who I appreciate, and I have cataloged the reactions I've seen him have, or, more so his lack of response or reaction to, like, Dave Feldman is one of the kindest human beings you're ever going to meet.
Yeah, and he publicly embarrassed him in a podcast forum.
Yeah. And these are the kinds of things, like, for me, this is just not a behavior I understand,
Right.
which is why most women don't like me, because I don't like drama of any kind. And I don't like being a part of it. I don't like feeling it. I don't like creating it. And I feel like there's no value to doing that to a human, whether I agree with them or not. Unless, of course, you're going to come here and try to fuck with my people and my dog, and then we have guns. This is a different scenario. But
yeah,
that's different. But in things like this, I like supporting people trying to learn, trying to do better, trying to open people's minds. And at first, that's kind of that's how I experienced Peter Attia at first.
Me too.
Yeah, and that's how I experienced, certain other individuals in that kind of like level of health fame or whatever you want to call it. The ones that are just consistently solid human beings, I feel love for them. I get Dave Feldman, Nick Norwitz, he's a little spunky, but he's a kid. And Dom D'Agostino, they're just consistently themselves.
Yes.
And there's no emotion. There's no, I need to make a bunch of money involved. There's no, I need to get famous involved. They have a passion, and they're out there to educate. And that's what I, fall in love. Like, you not fall in love, but you know what I mean? Just have that deep respect for, oh my God, this human being is so wonderful. And they're teaching me something. And I get turned off when it goes away from that.
Making a name, Molly, making a name for yourself should be a incidental, tangential byproduct of education and putting an authentic version of yourself out there that is truly curious, right? And not the other way around.
uncomfortable and accidental.
Yes.
Like I had a tiny taste of it after just working at a health food store on the sales floor for 10 years. So, you help the moms, you end up helping the kids, and then you're walking down the streets of Santa Barbara and people know you.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable because there was no intention there.
Mhm.
I'm excited about this shit. You don't feel good. Let me share what I've learned to help make you feel better. That was it. That was it. Like there was no commission. I made shit wages no matter what I did or how I helped people. And I got the tiniest taste of this kind of like people seeing you as something magical when you're just a human trying to learn shit. It's not. It should be uncomfortable.
I agreed.
And I thank you for those points there too, because that does bring up. We were talking about perception right before we gave you a call, and there is a need for everybody to go into these types of hits in the news cycle. It's like it's one thing when we get a little piece of information, something happened one place or another, and it's going to be here for a couple days and it'll be gone. And then there are bigger incidents like this where you get 3.5 million pieces of data, pieces of paper dropped in your lap, and it's like a feeding frenzy, a piranha, and everybody wants to find the most provocative thing there and talk about it. But then throughout all of that stuff where it's just going to naturally just cycle through, these massive dumps by no means really seem like transparency. Like whatever we did tonight, it was an opportunity for us to go back and have deeper dives into more well-established stories that have been out there for a while. But aside from what we're doing right now, the transparency aspect of it is not even really there. I don't think that's the main thing that we're dealing with, because it feels a lot more like controlled confusion than it is anything else. And some people are taking it as an opportunity to make a victory lap. There's like three types of people on the internet right now. The first type is a person who is claiming that they're validated for work that they had done long time ago. The other person is, I don't know, like they're being red pilled on something. The other person almost doesn't care, or they're trying to find a way to localize whatever the hell is being put out there so they can apply it politically in some kind of a shallow.
People are fucking lonely.
No, we're bored. There's a lot of boredom.
Mm-hmm.
There's boredom and loneliness. And the thing I feel the most when I'm like random, like I hate having social media, but I have to because I have a business. But I just feel like people are lonely and sad, and they want some sort of interaction, good, bad, otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can make a comment on a massive thing that's happening and someone says something, it feels cringy, but it also feels, I feel sad for them. I won't participate. I'm not going to interact in most of it, but it to me, it just shows me how little grounding people have in their own lives. That not people in general, but the humans spending all day on X. And to me, that's just it. It paints a picture of the sad place that a lot of normies or NPCs are at. And I think it's always been that way. This is a whole other conversation, but there are genetic components to how your brain is fucking made up and to how much dopamine you need. And once I started learning about all that, it made it harder for me to have the emotion of anger towards these individuals. I just feel repelled.
Well,
you go do your little crazy dance over there because that's what you're doing, but I don't have to interact with it because it's sad, and it just makes me feel appreciative for whatever series of life circumstances has led me to a brain that doesn't feel the need to be fed in that fashion.
Well, we're gonna have to crack that can open on another night, no doubt. And also, Molly, we got to figure out what our Valentine's Day promotion is going to be for February. What is it?
So basically, to keep it simple, because I think you're right, January code was easy. I think we'll just do code February, and that will get everybody a discount, and it'll get them entered into the contest. And I have the beginnings of the bundle, and I am open to suggestion, but Keto Brainz exists because we made it, and I loved it, and people loved it. So my thought was, I love my red light face mask, and I love my copper peptide serum that I use with my red light face mask. And so I was thinking the bundle could be a red light face mask, a copper peptide facial serum, the Keto Brainz gifting bundle, plus a brand new product that I told you guys about a while ago, but it took our friends forever to bring it into existence. A bag of, it's a company called Pharmalogical, and they make a bone broth that uses New Zealand cattle and organs, and it tastes delicious. And I've asked them if they would be willing to gift a bag to add to the bundle. So that is the bundle thus far, but I may add some other things as I think.
Oh man, I would love that. Oh, bone broth. That would be a great. Oh, that'd be a great addition to all the stuff over
It's
here.
good.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's okay.
no.
Well, February sounds
Great.
amazing so far, and I appreciate you. And we'll talk after the show. Molly from KetoBrainz.com. Promo code February.
Boom. Have a great night, guys. You're amazing.
All
and
right.
your people are amazing. Give them big love for me.
They are. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Molly.
All right. You too. Bye-bye, guys.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad we ended on that note because it is true throughout all this stuff, you got to keep your shields up. And I understand why people, I understand the drive and the need to want to break things open and get in there. But you see the comment sections, it's either why it's one of a few things. The most prominent thing is why hasn't anyone been hung yet?
Right.
And if that's ever going to happen, it's not going to be because of a chat room poll.
No.
Or, you know, what's trending on Twitter. And I understand that outcome would be righteous in many respects. But at the same time, you can't keep poisoning yourself with it. Once you understand how it is, then the need to keep collecting, pieces is it's a collection that you don't need to.
You still have to live your life.
Yeah.
And I think one of the main things that I took away from what Molly said, and I agree, is that people, it hasn't been that long since human beings' only sort of responsibility in the world was survival. When you think about the totality of human existence, you know, the creature comforts of today are the only reason that we are now able to divert our attention to, and I say lesser important things, not because what we've been talking about tonight is less important, but I actually mean the lesser important things, as Molly was saying, like the interpersonal drama, right? We're hardwired as human beings in a lot of ways to protect the tribe and to, you know, be wary around dark corners, right? Like, so that is wired into the human condition. But in a time, but in a time where we are no longer required to spend all of our time hunting and gathering and protecting and surviving, what do we do with all that energy? And I think that's why people are now looking for the dopamine replacement. And a lot of it, unfortunately, comes in this form of social media stupidity. And I told you, I've been off social media now for 3 months. It's crazy. I did not intend this, but it's been nice. And I miss the education part. I love educating people, but
Must be nice.
But I don't miss any of the BS and any of the nonsense. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I mean, I have to get back to it at some point, but I want to reimagine it in a way that's more beneficial for me and the audience rather, and I never get involved in mudslinging. Like, I don't do that stuff. The only reason we're talking about Pierre Attia is because he just came up. And I do think it is, though, important to consider the source, because again, when someone who's that reputable in the field and now all of a sudden their entire character is questioned, that does call their advice and everything into question. It should, at least for you.
Right.
So there are times when you must step into the arena and say, okay, I got to speak up because this is my field. But by and large, I don't, like you said, I try to protect my energy for the things that are productive in life.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a major mission of mine, as with a few other missions in 2026, is to finally crack the code of working smarter and not harder.
Yeah.
Because harder seems to only, it's not like football. You know, it's like when you train harder and you run faster and you throw your shoulder harder into somebody else.
Football?
I mean, it's like there are certain sports where if you try harder, you'll actually get better results.
Yeah, of course.
And then there are other sports like baseball where if you try harder, you'll just suck more. And you have to
Or
relax.
golf. Yeah, try harder. Nope. Good luck with
You know,
that.
it's crazy.
You need a flow.
There
Yeah.
are, and this life and your work schedule and that balance and all that stuff, that is really like a finesse sport.
Yeah.
And you need your repetitions. I mean, you have to get your reps in.
Yeah.
But as far as your tension level, your intention, and that's something that I'm constantly battling with. And yeah, I got to find a way to decompress a bit.
Jen and I have been talking a lot about that in terms of educating people. It's not just about educating them in sleep or movement or nutrition or, you know, supplements or whatever. It's also about training people how to think differently about their lives and actually consciously examine what they're doing, because we do tend to live life, all of us, on autopilot because, you know, you ever like you drive the same path every day, and sometimes you can drive that path, and when you get where you're going, you really can't recall the journey anymore because you're thinking of 1,000 other things. And that's fine when it's certain tasks, but when it's your life and it's finite, you really want to think about thinking and really be conscious and be deliberate about the choices that you're making at every moment. And when you actually engage in that, it's very strange because you start to realize just how much of your life you're not actually living, that you're going through the motions, and it can be a little scary sometimes because you're like, well, there's always tomorrow, but someday there's not going to be a tomorrow.
It's fucked up you say this because, you know, every time that there is a day that I don't like, you know, and I know you say, well, it's all perception, Frank. You know, I can't look back on a day that was not very fun and then change my perspective, my perception on how good it was, and then like retroactively
Right.
have enjoyed it.
No, you can't do
know,
that. You can appreciate it from a perspective.
I know, but
you
sucks
can't,
because
yeah.
whenever a day ends and I'm just like, I plop on my couch and it's just all I have is the quiet of the living room and just a slight bit of tinnitus to keep to keep me company.
The life of a musician, I get the same thing.
It's just me, a little bit of tinnitus, and the ticking of the clock, and it's like 10:30. And I'm just thinking, all right, well, and then everybody has this, whatever you do,
Yeah.
tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
Those days where it's not really, I've been thinking of this way since I was in my 20s. Like whenever a day is shitty and it ends, I go, well, I'm not getting that one back. And you think probably months worth of bad days. And I just, well, hey, and you're having a bad day in the middle of it.
Sure.
It's not like a day is progressing and you find out at the end of the day if it was good or bad. I mean, you know how it's going.
So the Soundgarden song, "The Day I Tried to Live," the lyric is, "I should have stayed in bed."
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, hell, man. And that's the worst part about all that stuff is like sometimes you just can't turn it around. You have to just like, all right, I guess this is how we're feeling this week. And that sucks. But at the same time, I think that is more real than what we get pulled into.
Yes,
on the internet,
because it's your life, and again, with perspective, you have the opportunity to sort of recognize those patterns and alter the course the next time. I think the only time you fail, and I tell this to clients all the time, you never fail unless you give up and you stop trying. Then you failed yourself. But if you're still trying and you're trying to learn from those moments and recognize the patterns that put you in there, and you know, you've learned something. And so those days are not a waste. They are still a learning opportunity. And it's hard to wrap your mind around that, but it's a much better outlook than just thinking, well, I'm never going to get that one back. Because then I think maybe you didn't learn what you were supposed to learn from that day. Funny that we're saying this like the day after Groundhog Day, because that's always what I think every Groundhog Day, that Bill Murray movie.
Yeah.
You got to learn what you're there to learn.
It's one of the best movies.
It's a great movie. I love it.
It's a really fantastic movie.
Yeah.
And
underrated.
Oh, by the way, before we do our super chats and then get into the flip side.
Oh, it's 9:15.
I know.
Cow.
Yeah, we usually do a little extra, so I figured 9 o'clock is not that big of a deal.
No.
Couple things. First of all, it's my 20th year of broadcast, and I want to invite you guys and gals, please become a sponsor of the show for as little as $5. But for this month, starting this month, we might we'll see how it goes, how much more we need. Starting this month, if you subscribe as a sponsor for $10 or more, this is what we got. This is designed by Shane B.
Whoa.
It's a very special, quite frankly, 20-year anniversary shirt.
That is cool.
Yep. Look at that. 20 years on the air. I hate this show. It's got
Hey, I remember when we were going to do the Jamboree and I said, I hate this show should be on a t-shirt.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Well, and don't worry, if you're already a sponsor, we're going to be putting together an order form for everybody who's already a sponsor who wants to get in on this, because we're going to find a way to make it for cost for you. But if you sign up as a new sponsor, it's starting this month. We'll keep it going for as long as we can throughout year 20. This is going to come along with your welcome package. So we bought 30 up front because it's all we can afford for right now. We have some medium, some large, and some extra large. If you're 2XL or something like that, you got to give us some time.
What if you're extra small?
Hopefully it shrinks.
The midgets in the audience.
Hopefully
sorry.
the medium shrink. We're just trying. So we got that going on. But the other thing is there too, Friday night, because we're talking about movies, Friday night is the watch party for Ready Player One. So if you are a monthly sponsor, no matter where it is, you're going to get the private watch party link. 9 o'clock Friday night, we're going to watch Ready Player One with a little bit of commentary and analysis that comes after the end credits. So just want to let you know that Friday night is movie night, my friends. And let's get into those super chats, shall we? Nancy Lambert says, this is a really good show tonight. Thanks, Frank and Jay. Thank you.
Thank you.
ST says, no, I blame you. No, I can't. There's some nights that I'm like, come on, why? Why did you do this to me? Okay, let's see. Thank you, Jeannie. Never mind, thought wrong. Oh, well, hold on. Crash was a Yankee baseball player. No, that was Corey Lytle. Helicopter crash was a Yankee baseball player.
Oh, yeah, right. Corey Lytle.
And that wasn't a helicopter. That was a plane.
And that was a long time ago.
And he crashed into a building.
Yeah. I don't think that's what she was referencing, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Siri, when did Corey Lytle get into a plane crash?
90s or late 2000s? Early 2000s?
Early 2000s. It had to be. October 11th. Hold on, let me see. Corey Lytle. October 11th, 2006.
Wow.
Right-handed pitcher. Man, Corey Lytle. Couldn't believe it.
That, yeah.
Yeah, I think he came over from like the Phillies or something like that. I think he came over from the Phillies with Bobby Abreu.
Bobby Abreu. Oh, I remember that name.
Yeah, no, Bobby Abreu was a good Yankee.
He was a good player, yeah.
Yeah, they had a couple of great teams in that, but they just couldn't do anything. All right, let's see here. Jay Britt says, Frank and Jay, thank you both for enthusiastically sharing all this vile garbage with us.
You're welcome.
You can't hate these people enough. I hate this show. By the way, tomorrow night we got Jeff Harmon will be on in the first half with a little bit of an Astro prediction.
That's fun.
You know, you give us the Astro forecast. That'll be fun. And in the second half, I want Kathy O'Brien is going to stop by a little bit to comment on the MK Ultra aspects of what has been opened up in this. You know, I just calling everybody in for a little bit of hanging out. All right, let's see what else do we have over here. We'll get to Pilled in just a little bit. Over on Rumble, Captain Wiggle says Epstein reminds me of the Ego, the living planet from the MCU Marvel. I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
It reminds me of Ego.
I haven't seen enough of the MCU. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Haywood says, Jay, so many people will gain trust by being honest 85 to 95% of the time, only to guide you wrong when it really matters.
Yeah.
Trust but verify, everyone, even Frank.
I say that all the time. Even me. You go. I mean, I want you guys to learn how to do what I do. I don't want you to trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want you to call me. All I care about is when the lines are open, call in and tell me what you think. Give me your opinion.
Otherwise, we get pranked by the Howard Stern show.
I can't tell you how many times over the many years, people have called in and given a theory that has nudged me off of my original.
Sure.
My where am I from an initial standpoint? What's the most logical position I can take right now, just as a holding pattern.
Mm-hmm.
The calls have been fantastic, not only for me, but I'm sure for everybody else. Some of them have been funny, some of them are outrageous. That's what's so important. And
wisdom of crowds.
Yeah, Nat Wall says, "Out of Shadows started my awakening."
Yeah. I mean, that was a good documentary.
There's a lot of good stuff. Anyway, that's all we have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to have you here on a February 3rd, and tomorrow is the 4th. It should be a fun time. We are going to hop over to the flip side now and just say whatever the hell we want.
Like we haven't done that already.
Nothing has been held back tonight. Nothing at all. So I'm going to drop the link into the chat room. So I hope that you all join us. Please, ladies and gentlemen, come to the flip side and let us know what you think. And I don't know, we'll just do whatever together. Good night. Oh wait, Jay, give everybody a Health Reclamation Project plug, please.
Yes.
Keep forgetting.
Yeah, no, it's okay. healthreclamationproject.com. You can use the code FEB50. FEB50. Whatever you guys are looking for, we're opening up the one-on-ones. We have video libraries. We have lives. We do education. There's a community board where you can ask questions. Everything that you need when it comes to your health, you can learn it there, healthreclamationproject.com. And if you're not sure what you want to do, just drop us an email and, then we can send you things when it comes to future endeavors and anything that we're launching. But we're bringing actually other coaches on, so things are going to start to grow soon. So get on board.
Yep. And I have that link in the description of the episode so you can click on through. And again, thank you, everybody, one and all. The links have been dropped in the chat room. Click on over and we're going to talk for another half hour or so. Let's do it.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Thank you, everybody. Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience. Now, our super chatters starring Nancy Lambert, ST, Jeannie Yankee Fan, Jay Britz, Shotzi, Stostube, and Haywood, and Captain Wiggles, and a few others. We're going to get to your pilled gold pills in just a second. It's always spicier on the flip side, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you there. Good night.